Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine waking up from a dream, right? You were just in a place that felt absolutely real. You knew it. The layout, the feel, maybe even like the smell. It felt so familiar, somewhere you'd maybe been loads of times.
Yeah, that feeling.
But then, as you're waking up properly, you realize that place, it doesn't actually exist.
Not really. Not in your waking life, anyway.
Maybe it was, I don't know, a house with impossible extra rooms or a weird town that felt like home but isn't on any map,
Or that recurring strange hotel you can never quite check into properly.
Yes, exactly that. That sensation is so vivid, isn't it? That deep familiarity for a place that only exists when you're asleep.
It's fascinating. And like you said, sometimes a bit unsettling, but often weirdly comforting, too.
Totally. So this deep dive is all about those specific kinds of dreams, visiting places that aren't real or are like wildly different versions of real places.
And often revisiting them, right? Across different dreams.
Yeah, it's like our subconscious is, I don't know, building its own little world map just for us.
So to explore this, we've pulled together quite a bit of material. We've been looking at online forums where people are sharing these really personal, often pretty strange experiences.
Specifically, we found some great threads on the Escapist and Mumsnet. Lots of people talking about this.
Yeah, really rich descriptions. And we've also got an article from Times Now Astrology News.
Right, which offers some potential, interpretations for what these recurring, non-existent dream locations might actually mean.
So our mission today is really to dig into what these dream worlds are like for the people, having them, using their own words.
And then see what our sources suggest they might tell us about our own minds, our own lives.
Sounds good.
So diving right in, what people are actually describing, the core experience, it seems pretty consistent across these different accounts. It's dreaming of places you've just flat out never been to in the real world.
Or, like you mentioned, dreaming of real places, but they're twisted somehow, drastically different.
Exactly. Like someone mentioned a friend's totally normal house turning into this sprawling cave system in a forest.
Wow.
Or your childhood home suddenly having all these extra wings and rooms you've never seen before.
Right. And what really stands out from the forums is that the sense of permanence these places seem to have, but within the dream.
Yeah.
People talk about them feeling incredibly solid, familiar, like places they know really well.
Places they've returned to maybe over and over in different dreams.
Exactly. Like they have a stable existence somewhere, just not here.
Right. Like Von Exel, who started that thread on The Escapist, he talked about dreaming of all sorts of places.
Okay.
Extra rooms in his house, parks, malls, even places that felt like movie sets, like Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, okay.
And he used this phrase, a severe feeling of nostalgia for them. Said his dream self knows these places and sometimes misses them.
Misses places that don't exist. That's profound, actually.
Isn't it? And what's really fascinating, almost a bit eerie from his post, he noticed that his friends and family seemed to start having similar dreams, these vivid, non-existent places, sometimes right after talking to him about his...
Wait, really? Like it was contagious?
Kind of sounds like it. His grandfather apparently dreamed of a whole non-existent town called Quay.
A whole town?
Yeah, said it felt so real, so detailed, he was convinced he'd recognize it if he ever saw it awake. And his dad also had a recurring dream of a specific street that wasn't real.
That shared element is
Yeah.
genuinely mysterious. Wow.
Beyond that, the forums are just full of these specific, really vivid examples. Someone on Mumsnet described this recurring dream of a building.
Okay.
Supposed to be their primary school, but it looked nothing like the real one. A dream they've had for decades.
Decades. Wow. And you mentioned hotels earlier. There seems to be a lot of that.
Oh, yeah, tons. Variations on what sound like stress packing or holiday dream.
The stress dreams.
Totally. Often involving these non-existent hotels or resorts, or maybe places you just can't ever seem to get into or find your room.
Right, and people are trying to pack the weirdest things.
Completely bizarre stuff. Like people mentioned trying to pack TVs or cats or whole bookshelves into tiny bags.
Okay.
Facing airport chaos, getting to the hotel, but never managing to check in.
Oh, that frustration sounds familiar, even if the place isn't.
Yeah.
One person mentioned a holiday dream. Great pool, great restaurant at the hotel.
But
could never actually reach them, always blocked somehow.
Yeah, yes. Another described a dream hotel pool that kept turning green for no reason.
Just green.
And on Mumsnet, someone talks about this rambling old house they keep dreaming about. Sometimes they visit, sometimes they live there.
What's it like?
Odd-shaped rooms, loads of unexpected retro bathrooms like burgundy suites, yellow
Oh,
suites.
wow, 70s vibes.
Totally. And staircases that just lead off to who knows where.
There are accounts of different non-existent flats too, right?
Yeah, different flats, a house with 2 kitchens, and an outbuilding they're always trying to fix up.
Always renovating in the dream world.
Apparently. And a specific kind of boring shop that doesn't exist, but it's always the same in the dreams.
Huh. Not always exciting places then.
Not always.
Mhm.
And recurring landscapes, too. A moorland, a ghost town, a seaside town.
Someone mentioned a dream city that was like a school and a mall combined.
Yes. That bizarre combination. And the parallel life dream. That one really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
A user on Mumsnet regularly dreams of a whole different life. Different partner, different kids, different friends.
Wow.
All happening in a place completely separate from their real life.
That's intense, like stepping into another reality each night.
Pretty much. And maybe the most, well, trippy, as one user put it,
Go on.
is realizing while you're dreaming that you've been to this exact fictional place before.
In another dream.
Yeah. Like Dream Year remembers the previous dream visit. They said waking up after that felt sort of cool.
I bet. It gives this weird sense of continuity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To these made-up worlds.
It really does. Now, beyond just what these places are like, the sources also talk about the feelings people have.
Right, the emotional side.
People mention nostalgia, obviously, but also sadness when they wake up because it wasn't real.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Confusion, sometimes enjoyment, definitely stress, especially with those packing nightmares.
Okay.
Or even, like, feelings of foreboding initially, like an empty house dream that maybe shifted tone later on.
So the emotional landscape is as varied as the places themselves, really.
Seems like it. Which naturally makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Okay, these places feel real. They keep coming back. They stir up strong feelings. What could they possibly mean?
Yeah, the big why. The forum users sometimes offer, simpler ideas. Like it's just proof of a really strong imagination. Or maybe the subconscious giving solid form to thoughts or ideas you've been having.
Okay. Sort of straightforward explanation.
Yeah. But the Times Now article, it takes a different tack, digs into potential interpretations.
Okay, what does it suggest?
Well, one central idea is that these dreams might be a kind of message, maybe even a warning from your subconscious.
A warning about what?
About your current situation, maybe, or how you're dealing with something. It suggests possible links to anxiety and stress.
Ah, okay. So the place itself could be symbolic.
Exactly. The article suggests the place might symbolize an internal conflict you're having, or maybe feeling trapped or stuck in some part of your waking life.
Like the dream hotel you can't get into represents a real-life block?
Precisely. It could be your mind saying, hey, slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you need to actually go through this difficult thing before things get better. That frustration in the dream mirrors a real-world frustration.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. What else?
The article also proposes these dreams can symbolize a really powerful desire to just escape.
Escape reality.
Yeah, seeking freedom in a place where you can do whatever you want, whether that's a dream island, a forest, or just an empty road stretching out.
A sort of mental holiday.
Kind of. Or it could be your subconscious nudging you, saying, hey, maybe it's time for a big change.
Like quitting the job or
Yeah.
ending the relationship.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Or finally going after something that would actually make you happy. The dream offers that alternative, that escape, as a sort of hint.
And there was a psychological angle in the article, too, wasn't there? Something about memory.
Yes. This I found really interesting. It floats the theory that the brain might be using these dreams as a kind of break
A break from what?
from processing difficult or traumatic long-term memories.
Oh, okay. Say more about that.
The idea is that the brain actively uses these invented places as a sort of mental decompression chamber.
Right.
So after maybe grappling with tough stuff awake, the dream where everything's smooth or just totally different could be your subconscious giving your mind vital space to just breathe.
So you wake up feeling a bit clearer, maybe more ready to process things.
That's the idea, according to this source. It's a pretty significant insight into how the subconscious might work. The dream place isn't just passive scenery.
It's part of the cognitive machinery. Wow. The article also suggested they could be part of healing, right?
Yeah, especially after negative experiences like grief or maybe betrayal. The dreams might act as a gentle reminder of the wider world.
Like, there's more out there than this pain.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Subtly encouraging you to stop limiting yourself because of what happened. And if you have recurring dreams that revisit old feelings or scenes,
Yeah.
the source suggests that could mean your subconscious is signaling you're finally ready to move on, to integrate those past events properly.
Okay. Another angle was about feeling stuck, wasn't it?
Right. Linked to maybe a perceived lack of mobility or progress in your waking life. Or maybe fear of the future, avoiding risks you need to take.
So the dream world compensates.
Yeah, it acts as a compensation, showing you there's more than what is immediately around you. Or maybe just highlighting that your dream life feels more exciting or free than your real one.
Which could be a prompt in itself.
Exactly. And this raises a really important point the article makes. If you have a recurring dream about one of these places, and it always stops, just before something big happens, or before you reach a certain point.
Like the hotel pool you never get to swim in?
Precisely. The source suggests that could be your subconscious actively pushing you towards something important in waking life that you're avoiding.
Something you need to do?
Maybe a difficult conversation, facing a fear, confronting something you need to look at to move forward. The dream is mirroring that unfinished business.
Wow. Okay, so what does all this mean for, for you listening to this deep dive?
Well, these interpretations from our sources, they offer some really powerful ways to think about your own dreams of these unique places.
You can think about the feelings they bring up, right? Are they stressful, like the packing dreams? Nostalgic, like Von Exel felt? Or something else?
Yeah, and consider if any of these potential meanings we've talked about, based on what people shared and what the article suggests, if any of them resonate with where you are right now.
Are you feeling anxious, trapped, craving escape, thinking about change, maybe processing something from the past?
Exactly. These aren't definitive answers, obviously. Dream interpretation is super personal and complex.
Sure.
But using these accounts and perspectives, it can give you a really compelling framework to start thinking about what your subconscious might be trying to communicate.
Through these incredibly detailed, unique worlds, it builds just for you while you sleep. So, to summarize then, dreaming of these non-existent, often recurring places, clearly a shared human thing.
Yeah, definitely not just you if you experience it. Described in these sources as sometimes weird, sometimes comforting.
But always feeling incredibly real, strangely permanent within the dream itself.
And the sources we've looked at really strongly suggest these aren't just, random brain noise or jumbled memories.
Right. They could be complex, meaningful creations from our subconscious.
Potentially reflecting deep anxieties, maybe powerful desires for escape or freedom, signals we're ready to heal.
Or even big nudges pushing us towards important actions in our waking lives that maybe we've been putting off.
Yeah, exactly.
So it leaves you with this thought, doesn't it? If your dreams are constructing these detailed, recurring worlds that only exist in your head, what secrets or needs or messages might your own unique dream places be, maybe desperately trying to tell you about your waking life?